In the words of the 12th Doctor,
I've been away for a while, but I'm back.
I was on holiday for the past couple of weeks, so sorry for the lack of uploads, but it's resulted in today's huge video. We've got loads, and I mean loads, of Doctor Who headlines to break down and to discuss. Also, after my last video where I discussed why Doctor actors left the role of the Doctor, which if you haven't seen, please feel free to go and check it out, I had a couple of people telling me extra little bits of information, people who worked on the show telling me extra little bits of information as to why Ncuti Gatwa may have ended up actually leaving the role, and we'll probably talk a little bit more about that later in this video. I also met Russell T Davies, and I got to see him live in person as he was asked, what is the future of Doctor Who? We'll discuss Russell and all that later in the video. But yeah, as I say, there's so many headlines to just sort of jump into and break down, so let's just go for it. First up, we'll start with a smaller story. This year's wave of Doctor Who B&M action figure sets is out now. If that's your thing, go and check it out. I will say though, there have been a lot of complaints online about these products. Apparently, the TARDIS, there's just sort of Sharpie lines where actual moulding should be, and the colour of the Daleks, like the paint apps, are much darker than they're supposed to be. Please feel free to complain about that in the comments. I probably won't be picking up either of these. I mean, there's no space for new stuff in those shelves anyway. We've also, who would have expected John Bishop to still be talking about Doctor Who in 2025? But John Bishop here hasn't ruled out returning to Doctor Who at some point in the future. I mean, let's just listen to the man himself. He posted a video discussing all of this on TikTok as well.
All the companions leave Doctor Who with a chance that they can come back when the Doctor has been through whatever travels that they're going through. And at the moment, the Doctor's gone through another regeneration, and it was such a great thing to do. I would definitely be pleased if that happened. But if it doesn't, I'm just grateful for the time I had.
As for whether I'd like to see Dan come back, I mean, sure, he was fine. John Bishop seems nice enough. I just think the character never really did anything, but he wasn't bad. I mean, I like him. He's fine. Yeah, why not? I'd rather Yaz come back though. I feel like Yaz has more stuff to do. But also, I can't lie, I kind of feel like the show, at least for the foreseeable, kind of needs to stop bringing things back. I am going to release a whole video talking about this soon, but I do think Doctor Who has reached the point where it's not out of steam, but out of steam. It's also seemingly kind of convention season. You've had Katherine Tate, you've had Billie Piper, you've had loads of different Comic Cons and conventions going on, where obviously Billie Piper has been asked again, "Ooh, are you the Doctor?" I've seen about 400 videos, that's an exaggeration, but I've seen many videos of people going, "Ooh, Billie, are you the next Doctor?" To which she kind of increasingly seems to be like, "Oh, am I still getting asked this question?"
Do you know much about it? Like, do you know much of the details yourself?
I mean, this question has been put to me in various different guises today, whether it's write this or and I just can't comment. I've already said, and I seconded Russell's comments, which is the who, the why, the where, that's sort of all yet to be considered in a sort of meaningful way. So you guys are just too impatient.
And I can't lie, I think the honest answer is she doesn't know. I don't think Russell knows. I don't think anybody knows. I mean, we'll talk more about Russell, because Russell was asked this question. I got to see it live, actually, that's cool. But Russell also was just sort of like, I don't know, I can't say that he even said that he's not in the meetings for the future of Doctor Who, which I don't know whether that's true. But one particular article of interest here, Katherine Tate wants Donna Noble to meet the 9th Doctor, which is quite a random pairing, but let's just read this article from Cultbox. British actress Katherine Tate entertained fans in an amusing and often chaotic question and answer session at Fan Expo Boston on the 8th of August 2025. When she was asked if she could have her character Donna Noble meet any other character in Doctor Who whom she hadn't already met, her choice was inspired. This is the direct quote from Katherine. "I understand the assignment. It would be Chris Eccleston's Doctor. Yes, because he's as feisty as he is, and let's have his northern energy meet my southern energy. That's who I'd have." I can't lie, Katherine has kind of, like, this would be an elite combination of Doctor and Companion, because both of them would be bickering constantly. Like, the Ninth Doctor bickered with Rose quite a lot. It allowed for a lot of character depth, character drama, was all good fun. The Ninth Doctor and Donna, they would be non-stop arguing, but would also have the strongest bond. That would be cool to see on screen, but look, it's not gonna happen, is it? I mean, let's be real. It's not gonna happen, but it would be cool. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments down below, because, yeah, what other Doctor-Companion dynamics could work that well? I think this has got to be up there. Maybe there's better ones, so let me know in the comments. Now, there's also this bizarre thing. I mean, I did see Tharies make a video discussing this online shop thing that Doctor Who has hyped up and then launched. We'll just take a read of this article, but join Unit now. New online experience opens for Doctor Who fans. Browse the Black Archive, shop Unit accessories and take part in exclusive missions in a new in-universe experience on the Doctor Who website. BBC Studios have launched an all-new experience on the official Doctor Who website for aspiring members of Unit. Fans can now join the organisation by logging into Unit HQ. Basically, this is a really bizarre online shop where, I'm not gonna lie, like, none of the designs are good. And I don't want to be mean to any designers out there, but I don't think I am being. Because I've seen people on Twitter as well talking and claiming about, like, has AI been used in any of these designs? Now, I am not going to say publicly it has been, or imply that it has, because I don't know. It's incredibly difficult to know nowadays, but I would just say, on a personal opinion, I wouldn't be surprised if it had been used in areas of these products, because they just seem quite uninspired. I mean, there's also on LinkedIn talking about this whole brand strategy. There's this big, long post that, look, I'll just put it on screen, but designed with, if you know energy. Sorry about that. Deep fandom reverence. This is where culture and commerce truly collide. That sentence. We always say fandom isn't a trend, it's a way of life. I guarantee you whoever wrote this is a millennial. I'm not insulting millennials. Millennials, we love you, but this feels straight out of, like, 2009, when fandoms were sort of being publicly acceptable to be a part of. So we're kicking things off in true fan fashion. Doctor Who landing at San Diego, a Black Archive experience. We're telling stories through products and creating a space where fans don't just buy, they belong. To the fans who've always known what's up, this one's for you. Okay, answer me, how is this telling a story through a product? I don't want to be too negative. I try not to be negative or complaining on this channel, but this whole thing kind of just feels like a bit of a money grab. I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm happy to be proven wrong, but this kind of feels like a soulless Doctor Who fans will buy anything. Let's put out some highly expensive. Also, if they were cheaper, it's not deep at all, but they are so expensive. Yeah, these products are insanely expensive, and it just feels like a bit of a cash grab for Doctor Who fans that will spend money on anything. But maybe I'm wrong. Let me know your thoughts on all this stuff in the comments. Do you like these merch designs? Would you buy them? Would you buy them for a cheaper price? Would you buy them for that price? I don't know. We've also had the first Ninth Doctor and Rose Tyler Big Finish audio adventures release while I've been away, which is pretty cool. I haven't listened to them yet, but I'm making a promise now, because we always talk about it on this channel. I don't listen to Big Finish properly. I am going to listen to this. When I get more spare time, when I have the chance, I love The Ninth Doctor and Rose. 100% I'm going to be listening to this audio, and I will probably share my thoughts. If you want to see a review, let me know, but yeah, I'm excited by this. Point is, it's out though if you want to go and check it out. We've also had some pretty cool, technically not Doctor Who related news, but Matt Smith has landed a big secret role in an upcoming Star Wars movie alongside Ryan Gosling, which is kind of wild, but I guarantee you, on the press tour for this movie, Ryan Gosling will be talking about Doctor Who. We already saw him support his friend Ncuti Gatwa by wearing a unofficial Doctor Who Ncuti Gatwa t-shirt when he was announced, but we know that Ryan Gosling, I wouldn't call him a Whovian, but he is a fan of bits of Doctor Who. He's talked before in interviews about seeing Matt Smith deliver that Pandorica speech and being like, whoa, that guy's a good actor, this show's amazing. So, yeah, Ryan Gosling, Matt Smith in a Star Wars movie. I think it's apparent that Matt Smith is going to be playing the villain of sorts. Now, I'm not sure how true it is, but originally I think he was supposed to be playing, and I think they shot some of it, a young Emperor Palpatine for Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, back in 2019. We know that didn't pan out. There was no young Emperor Palpatine in that movie. So it's nice to see Matt Smith come back to Star Wars to play another villainous role. Hopefully he doesn't act it like he did with Mr. Clever, but I'm on board for this. I haven't watched much Star Wars for a while because the output of the Disney Plus shows has been quite questionable in my opinion, but I'm on board for another movie. Matt Smith, Ryan Gosling, why not? The publication states that there may be more than one baddie in the film, but Smith's character could become the next great villain in the Star Wars universe. Anyway, the podcast that I got to see recorded live with Russell T Davies is out now and has naturally spawned headlines like this: Doctor Who boss doesn't think the show will be considered one of his greatest hits. But since I was there and watched it all play out live, I can just give you the breakdown and discussion of what I actually saw and heard. One of the first questions Russell was asked when he actually entered the stage to thunderous applause was, who is the next Doctor? And obviously we've already kind of discussed it in this video, but he just said, I can't say, I don't know, I'm not in the meetings. And that was kind of his response to almost every Doctor Who question, which is very fair enough. It was quite funny because he's definitely aware of like the online spaces and stuff, and some may call it occasional clickbait headlines, maybe. But there was this point where one of the hosts said, oh, is such and such going to write for Doctor Who? And I think Russell said, like, oh yeah, it'd be cool if they did write for Doctor Who. And then he immediately went, I'm not saying he is writing for Doctor Who. Let's not get that in the headlines. I didn't say that. So yeah, it's quite funny. He's very active, I imagine, within reading Doctor Who headlines, clickbait ones especially. This article does also quote him as saying, like when they ask, so what's happening with Doctor Who? He just says, behave, because he doesn't know, he can't say. As I mentioned earlier in this video, he says he's not in all of the meetings about these discussions. It is basically confirmed, though, it's Disney that are holding this process up. Like, Disney Plus aren't commissioning, haven't yet recommissioned. I've talked before, but like the creator of Andor was saying how difficult it is to get funding for Disney Plus because the streaming model is kind of collapsing. That's one of the other things this podcast, which you can go and listen to yourself, but is one of the things Russell talks about in the podcast as well. The land and world of streamed content and streaming just is not thriving, and it's not sustainable. Like, it had a massive boom because of the pandemic. There was so much invested into it, but ultimately it's not working. He also talked about how like writers on some of the Marvel shows, that they didn't have the experience of writing long serialized things, so they got padded, or the writing didn't quite live up to scratch. Yeah, it's a mess, isn't it? I think if it was up to the BBC, Doctor Who would be coming back, definitely. But it's just waiting to see what happens with Disney. We know, as I've mentioned in other videos, the back catalogue is now, it's not on HBO Max internationally. You can't watch New Who on streaming anywhere in America now, which is maybe they're selling that to Disney or trying to sell that to Disney. We've still got The War Between the Land and the Sea to come. Russell was praising how good that was, though. This is one of the things he said which I didn't expect, but he was saying, like, sometimes in an edit you make the product and you're like, oh, that's good, But with The War Between the Land and the Sea, they had one of those sort of rare moments where the music, the effects, the story, everything about it really hit, and it's something he's really proud of. Now, this could be typical showrunner talk again, but I'd like to believe that it's going to be good. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. If it's anything like Torchwood Children of Earth, it is going to be good. Like, that was very hard-hitting, gritty drama, but still contained within the Hooniverse. I hope it's something akin to that. Also, just on Russell himself, he seems like such a lovely man. Like, he was so welcoming and nice to everyone. And I've got a funny story as well, because I went with Artie from the podcast, the guy who plays the meddling monk in our fan films, or you'll know him from the podcast, but we both rocked up at the venue like an hour early-ish. And there's this ramp outside the venue. We were walking down it, and then there's steps on the other side with a railing in between. As we were walking down the ramp, we saw Russell walking up, and obviously we both sort of just were like, oh, that's Russell T Davies. So we just sort of stared, and we were just staring at the man, and he clearly noticed us staring, so sort of stared back, and there was just sort of this awkward, like, he was going up, we were going down, staring, and then Artie just does this, puts his thumb up, and makes the most awkward smile at Russell, which was bizarre, but very funny. And luckily we did get to see him afterwards. We did get some selfies. He was also handing out cake, which is really funny. Like, he was just giving people cake. But yeah, he was lovely, and we got to apologise for the awkward encounter earlier in the day, which was quite nice. And Russell was like, oh yes, I just assumed you'd be coming to the podcast. So it was all right. It was fun. But no, it was a fun experience. Absolutely marvellous. I also said I'd slightly follow up on my latest video, or my last video, where I was discussing why actors and people left their roles in Doctor Who. I think, unlike with whatever went down in 2005, there isn't actually a major drama behind the scenes. As I say, I'm not going to reveal who or where, but I've heard a couple of things from a couple of different people who I know for a fact have worked on the show or around the show, and yeah, I don't think there was a major behind-the-scenes bust-up or any of that. One quote from Shooty, which I've had more elaboration on, is this here. We have talked about it in a prior video, but Shooty said one of the reasons he left the role is that it's the most amazing job in the world, a job that any actor would dream of. So you've got to bear in mind all these conspiracies about there being some big behind-the-scenes drama. I don't think that's the case if Shooty's talking this positively about Doctor Who, but he said, and because it's so good, it's strenuous. It takes a lot out of you physically, emotionally, and mentally, so it was time. Now, especially on the mentally front, I don't know these people personally, but I think from what I've heard, having this amount of Doctor Who fans, and people don't expect when they join the show the sheer amount of Doctor Who fans, of negativity, of positivity, of the emotional side of taking on these roles, and the amount of press and publicity that would bring. We already know back in 2021, Ncuti Gatwa had to get security, I think, for his family because of how many people were and how many members of the press were interested in Doctor Who. I think that is, that's one of the big reasons Ncuti ended up leaving. He was going to stay on for season 3 when Disney delayed it a bit more. I think, he says it himself in this quote, but the mental struggle of it all, for his mental health, it was probably best to leave it behind, which I think that's, you know what, that's fair enough. I don't think there was a big behind-the-scenes drama. Obviously, we don't know, but yeah, I think from the sounds of it, it was just unfortunate circumstances, and it's just the way things panned out. But if you want to hear more about why different Doctor actors left the role and the secret affair that went on behind the scenes, go and check out my quite gossipy why actors left Doctor Who video. I'm very proud of it. I spent so long on it and then it flopped viewing figures wise, mainly because I was abroad and accidentally set it for the wrong time to premiere, so it premiered at like 6 in the morning or something and no one was online. But I'll stop plugging that, I'll stop promoting that. New videos coming soon. Echo's Destiny, I posted an update for on my Instagram. Go and check that out if you want. I'll stop waffling. Those were your headlines. Let me know what you're thinking. Thank you and goodbye.
Don't forget to click below and subscribe to the official Confused Adipose YouTube channel.
I will destroy you! She's not seen a single episode.
No, I've watched your episodes.
Keep these sonic screwdrivers.
What else am I saying about the film? Don't watch this one.